All right, welcome back. Today we are going over letter 43. It is on the relativity of fame. And he says here in verse 1, Do you ask how the news reached me? Who informed me that you were entertaining this idea of which you had said nothing to a single soul? It was the most knowing of persons, gossip. What, you say? Am I such a great personage that I can stir up gossip? Now, there is no reason why you should measure yourself according to this part of the world. Have regard only to this place where you are dwelling. So, in this part of the world, he's talking about Rome here, and he's saying that, look, here's the thing. All right. You know, are you wondering how I learned about this thing that you're saying that you thought you only told someone, no one, right? That you only told yourself? Gossip. Right. And he's saying that, if you're wondering, well, are you such a great person that you can stir up gossip? Well, here's the thing. Okay. It's not even like this whole part of the world. It's not even like all of Rome. It's just where you're dwelling, where you're at, right? What's going on there? So in verse 2, he says, any point which rises above adjacent points is great at the spot where it rises. For greatness is not absolute. Comparison increases or lessens it. A ship which looms large in the river seems tiny when on the ocean. A rudder which is large for one vessel is small for another. Okay, so he's kind of getting to the point here, but he's saying, like, look, it will stick out. Like, it's not about just about how big something is or how great something is. It's about the comparison, right? Which is true. And verse 3, he says, so in your province, so you and your province are really of importance. And his province is, he says, Lucullus at the time was in the imperial procurator in Sicily. So he's in Sicily. Okay. He says, so in your province are really of importance, though you scorn yourself. So you and your province are really of importance, though you scorn yourself. Men are asking what you do, how you dine, and how you sleep, and they find out too. Hence, there is all the more reason for your living circumspectly. Do not, however, deem yourself truly happy until you find that you can live before men's eyes, until your walls protect but do not hide you. Although we are apt to believe these walls surround us, not to enable us to live more safely, but that we may sin more secretly. So what he's saying here is this. He's saying, look, and this is kind of the point so far in this short letter, is he's saying where you're at, okay, it is, you are important there. People do care, okay? People will notice, all right? They're asking what you do, how you dine, how you sleep, right? And they're going to find out. You're not going to hide stuff from people, okay? As well as you think you're hiding stuff, they will know, okay? And so he's saying that's even more reason to live more cautiously, right? Again, he talked about in previous letters about living as if he were watching, or if someone great was watching you. And that's, I think, an important point. And the point is that people will notice, right? People will know in your neighborhood, in your city, on your message forum, right? People will find out things. Don't think that you can live above that. And he's saying that you won't really be happy until you can live before men's eyes as if you didn't have walls, right? The only purpose of your walls is to protect you, but not to hide you, right? So you could live in a glass house, essentially, without walls, all right? And he's saying that we believe that the walls surround us to enable us, but to enable us to live more safely. But that's not actually the case. We do it so that we can sin more secretly, right? That's what we really hide ourselves and protect ourselves from. Okay. He says in verse 4, I shall mention a fact by which you may weigh the worth of a man's character. You will scarcely find anyone who can live with his door wide open. It is our conscience, not our pride, that has put doorkeepers at our doors. We live in such a fashion that being suddenly disclosed to view is equivalent to being caught in the act. What profits it, however, to hide ourselves away and to avoid the eyes and ears of men? So what he's saying here is he's saying, look, here's the deal. All right. He says, when I mention a fact by which you will weigh the worth of a man's character, you're not going to find anyone who just has his doors wide open. You're not going to find anyone who's just being transparent. All right. And he's saying that it's our conscience, not our pride. Right. That's what's causing this, because we know what we're doing. We know we're doing wrong. Right. And that's why we have to have doors and walls and people guarding those doors, is because just being discovered, right? Just being disclosed is equivalent to being caught in the act, because we know that we're always, anytime that we're going to be discovered, we're going to be caught in the act, or at least most people, right? So he says, what does it matter? How does it benefit you to hide yourselves away and avoid the ears and eyes of men, right? He says in verse 5, a good conscience welcomes the crowd, but a bad conscience, even in solitude, is disturbed and troubled. If your deeds are honorable, let everyone know them. If base, what matters it that no one knows them, as long as you yourself know them? How wretched you are if you despise such a witness. Farewell. So he's saying here that, look, here's the thing, okay? He must have heard something bad about what Lucilius did, right? And he's saying, look, if you're in good conscience, you welcome the crowd, right? You're transparent. You're living transparently. You welcome people to see what you're doing, and to see your life. It doesn't matter. They see where you sleep. They see what you eat. It's all good, right? But if you have a bad conscience, if you know you're doing wrong, even in solitude, you're still disturbed. You're still troubled, okay? And if your deeds are honorable, then sure, let everyone know them. Why hide anything? What's the purpose, right? If they're bad, then it doesn't matter. Like, what matters is that no one knows them. You want to hide them, but why does that matter? As long as if you know them yourself, then you should be convicted by that. That's why he says, how wretched you are if you despise such a witness as yourself. If you're like, I don't care that I know them, if that doesn't bother you, then he's saying that you're wretched. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.